try to think that love's not around.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World.
But it's uncomfortably near.
My name is Hilary Seabrook. So a special welcome if this is the first time you've listened to Harmonious World, and I hope you enjoy listening to my conversation with singer Deelee Dube. What is playing now is her version of Angel Eyes. I chatted with Deelee in a coffee shop in southeast London, which was a great pleasure. And I apologise for a little bit of background noise, but actually it adds a bit of atmosphere. So please do hit follow when you've heard this episode, and I hope you enjoy listening to our conversation.
Need I say that my love's misspent with angel eyes tonight?
Welcome to Harmonious World, Deelee Dube.
Thank you for having me,
That's
Hilary.
brilliant, and it's really nice because we met at Nicole Zuratis' gig at the Pizza Express. Pizza Express in Pheasantry. And we just got chatting, so it's really nice that we've got this opportunity to talk now.
Absolutely. I mean, that was quite spontaneous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because, I was just sat down and suddenly you came by, and I didn't realise that I was sitting next to somebody like yourself. And
Well, ditto really, so it was nice.
Yeah,
it was
so
perfect.
It was great.
So tell me, so you won the Sarah Vaughan Prize in 2016, is that right?
That's right. So it was late 2016, November 20th to be precise. And it was an amazing event, as you can imagine. And in fact, I remember it like yesterday. That's how amazing it was. And I was over in Newark, New Jersey, at the Great NJ Pack.
Yeah.
And do you want to know about the whole story?
Yes, I'd like to know how you came to be sort of up for that award. What's your story? How did you get there?
Well, to be honest with you, my story in relation to the competition itself stems way beyond the actual time that I entered the competition, because prior to all of that, I was an established singer, vocal artist, and I was kind of on the circuit doing my thing with my residency at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club, Acoustic Jazz Lounge upstairs, with Renato Diallo as the host and myself as co-host. So that was going on. And also just playing around London circuit in various different places, venues, which include the Royal Albert Hall as well. So I was doing quite a lot before the actual competition came up, which maybe not many people are aware of. So when it came to actually entering the competition, because it's an actual platform that you have to enter your material, your details, your background, all of that lovely stuff, and so I did that, but it was at a point where I felt ready to, let's say confident enough to,
Right.
and it was a case of just submitting some footage, live performances, material, music clips and things like this, and I did all of that, and I kind of just left it aside. I didn't think about it. I just got on, and then in fact that year, 2015 into 2016, I had been on a kind of European tour promoting Tenderly, which was my upcoming release at the time.
Right.
Which was produced also by Renato Diallo.
Oh, right.
So we were going around Europe Portugal, Spain, Italy, promoting the album, and come late 2016, I was notified of my successful entry.
Yeah.
And so it was all by email.
Right.
It was all by surprise. And I remember vividly that evening, I was actually preparing for a gig, going over my repertoire material, just drilling it, you know?
Yeah.
Suddenly, ping, my phone pinged. I looked, checked my emails, and there it was. You know when AOL goes, or when it used to go, you have mail.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you won the award based on the body of your material, and you then went over to Newark and were presented with it. Did you perform at the awards?
Well, yes, of course we performed. So, in fact, how the whole selection process went was, I was selected as one of one of 5 other singers. And I believe it had loads of entries.
Yeah.
So we were the finalists, and I was flown over there, and we went straight into the realness of it, of rehearsing and preparing for the actual competition. So it was a series of days, and thankfully enough, the NJ Pack is very near to the hotel, so it wasn't too much of a journey to get there or anything. But then I realised it didn't really dawn on me until I actually was in the rehearsal room with Carl Griffin and the other singers, how big this was, you know.
Oh, okay.
It just didn't drop in, it didn't settle until I think that was adrenaline, to be honest, and jet lag.
Yeah.
So there I was in the rehearsal space, just going over my pieces, which were Cherokee, Darn That Dream, and Estate. We had to choose, each of us, 3 pieces only.
Right.
And pretty much stick to them. Wow. And those were my chosen pieces. And when it came to actually the crunch of it, being on stage for the actual competition, I was nervous.
Of course.
Can't lie, I was nervous, naturally, you know. And but I think by the time I'd finished the second piece, which I think was a ballad, Darn That Dream, the third and final round came in, and I just thought, well, I don't know what else I can give but myself. Right. So I'm just going to be real, I'll be authentic, and I'll just perform the way I do, just as I do at Bonnie Scott's Jazz Club. So yeah. I did that, and
you won.
Yeah.
And that was that in front of an audience, or was it just in front of judges? Yeah, an audience with judges and everything.
And it was during the afternoon, not at night time.
Oh wow!
Which was funny because you know, you kind of feel these sorts of things, jazz, you know, at night time. But no, it was afternoon, and it was a packed house.
How fantastic!
It really was, and yeah, I mean, all of the other singers were fantastic too.
Yeah, and the winners over the years, I mean, have been some huge names, haven't they? I mean, you know, you're in very exalted company. So
yeah, I guess I was.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes, you know, you don't really know. Sometimes you might not know where you're going, or sometimes you might not know what your real purpose is until you throw yourself into the situation. And I think it was one of those kinds of scenarios where I just took the plunge.
Went for it.
I just took the plunge, and I'm a go-getter, you know.
Brilliant.
And I just did it, and I didn't know what to expect, Hilary. I really didn't. I had no expectations. I just went for it, and when they announced, because it was like a step-by-step sort of procedure where third and final round, or after that, they sort of announced who the winner is. So when it came down to the compare saying, and the second runner-up or the second finalist is da-da-da-da-da, and then I realised, well, they haven't said my name yet.
Right,
And it was like, okay, well, and the winner of the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Vocal Competition is Deelee Dube, and I was like,
yeah,
you know, and
that's
I
fantastic.
strangely enough, was very calm. Very English
Very
of me
good,
to be very calm, you know, perhaps. But I just I kept my cool, and the inside I was exploding with excitement, and I was elated. But it was after that, the whirlwind, the journalists, the whole media circus, photographs, interviews on the spot.
Right.
I remember on the spot having an on-the-spot interview with Downbeat.
Right, that's amazing, isn't
Michael
it?
Barris,
Yeah.
So it was just incredible. Nothing that I'm not familiar with, though. You know.
No, sure, but as a sort of, it's all, you know, that's the cream of jazz vocals, isn't it? I mean, to have your name in the same sentence as Sarah Vaughan is incredible, isn't it?
What an honour.
I know.
I have no words, to be honest.
No, it's brilliant. But I've obviously since meeting you, I've obviously listened to some of your stuff online. You have a stunning voice. Where does your voice come from? I mean, did you start singing at a very young age? Where did your voice come from?
It's a good question. It's a very good question. But to put it simply, it's a gift, you know?
Yeah.
And I know it sounds very cliche, however, I can only attribute it to that, really. Of course, I went through the whole nurturing process, the whole developing your ear process. You know, as a child, at 4 years old, I picked up the violin, and I had my mother to thank for that, you know. But that is a big part, in my opinion, of my development as in terms of sonics and sounds, and you know, because the violin has that beautiful swooping glissandi that you can create with the bow, and I played the violin. I still play, but I'm not practicing. I'm a bit out of practice right now, but I love the violin. So, and if you listen to Sarah's voice, you know, you can hear that almost resemblance, that you can draw that comparison to how she swoops and bends the sound, and I do that a lot as well, and for me that stems from the violin.
And I think the best singers have a voice that is like it is a musical instrument.
It's the greatest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the first.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard a saying that, you know, all instruments aim to imitate the sound of the voice.
Yeah.
It's just a human instrument, that's it. That we perhaps take for granted, but it's the first and foremost. So all instruments aim to emulate the sound of the voice, and that's where my, where my nurturing developed from. The violin, and then piano, self-trained on the piano, and then through training schools, through singing schools and all of that, and exposure to a great eclectic, collection of music as well, thanks to my mum and my aunts and uncles. So it's all of that combined, I think, and what you hear, because children learn what they see, they learn what they hear, and I really believe that my ears really perked up when it came to sound, you know, and they still do. I pick up sounds very easily.
Right.
So I think that's probably where it came from, who I listened to, and which was a lot of, to be honest, a lot of sounds, not just jazz. In fact, there was hardly any jazz at 4 years old, but there was lots of Beatles and soul and Motown and you know, pop and reggae and soul, you know. Top of the Pops, remember that?
Yeah, I remember Top of the Pops,
Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
So every weekend without fail, my twin brother and I would be sat in front of the TV watching that.
Yeah.
And that's how you learn, that's how kids learn.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you were, I mean, you had to choose 3 tracks. three tunes to perform for the Sarah Vaughan Prize. Would you choose 3 different tracks today if you were going to do that again? I mean, what would your 3 sort of favourite tracks to perform be right now? Because 8 years is quite a long time. Have you changed?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I have grown, I have evolved. My voice has developed without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it's a human fact that, of course, as we grow, as we develop, the voice goes along with it. So yes, my taste in music as well, my repertoire, the material that I work on and practice has also evolved. It's broadened. So yeah, absolutely. But
I don't want to put you on the spot because actually that's quite a tough one, isn't it?
It is. But my gosh, I can only because it's beyond 3.
Yeah.
And it's so tough.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take a couple of songs I was listening to yesterday that I adore. There's one called The Night Song, which comes from a musical. And there are several versions. Sammy Davis Jr. had done a version. Sarah Vaughan also, and hers is the one that I'm most drawn to. The Night Song, and it's stunning. It's a ballad, but it's a beautiful ballad.
Yeah.
In terms of others, I can't think right now.
No,
there's so many.
That's putting you on the spot. That's really bad. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot again. Who would you love to sing with? Either a duet or another instrumentalist. Who would you love to sing with?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Past, present, alive?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd love to work with Quincy Jones.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'd love to work with Quincy. Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Gosh, who else? In jazz now.
Well, what about in contemporary music, in pop music? Are there people that you think, oh, actually, I'd love to work with, that person? I don't know.
Yeah. Paul Simon.
Yeah, you see, there you go. Another great sort of lyricist and song performer. Yeah.
Paul Simon. Gosh, even Gregory Porter. I mean, he's a crossover between jazz, soul, but also, who else? Coldplay.
Yeah.
Pop.
Yeah.
And moving into sort of rock. There's a band called Incubus.
Okay.
Because I do enjoy rock too. They're great too.
Okay.
There aren't many that are out there right now, but for me, Incubus stand out.
Right.
Gosh, who else? Who else is there? I know there's plenty more, and I'll be like after this.
Yeah. It's interesting you say about Quincy Jones though, because the reason this podcast is called Harmonious World is because Quincy Jones once said, imagine what a harmonious world it would be if every one of us shared a little of what we're good at.
Yeah.
And I think he's a very wise man, and I mean a musical genius. So, so I think we'd all, given that phone call, we'd all go be there like a shot, wouldn't we?
We'd all benefit somehow, my goodness. He's a living legend. And, he's
definitely
still with us, thankfully. But I'd love to work with Quincy. I've heard he's still going strong.
Yeah, seems to be.
Absolutely. I mean, there's even on the more composer-producer side, Burt Bacharach is no longer with us.
Oh yeah.
But I would have loved to work with him. I was thinking to myself the other day, what happened to the days when there were these composers and instrumentalists who used to create and produce music for the singer? The likes of Dionne Warwick. That sort of dynamic. It's not quite the same nowadays.
No, it's not.
But I miss that. I would love that. For someone like I don't know, let's say John Beasley, say, look, here you go. let's work on this. I wrote this, I composed this, here's an
Yeah.
arrangement, let's get in the studio.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
I do.
sort of dynamic.
Yeah. One of the nice things about this podcast is that I work with, I interview classical and jazz and lots of different styles of music, and I always think that's the point. You know, if I could throw all of my guests into a room, there would be some amazing music created, because I think that people aren't usually as constrained by genre as, you know, the record companies are, and you know what I mean. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it would be very interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
So where can people hear you?
Oh, well, I have some upcoming events coming up with the main bulk in November, however, but my next gig will be at the end of this month at the Green Note.
Okay.
So you know the Green Note in Cannes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming up on the 30th of August.
Right.
It's such a beautiful, cool, very chilled out grassroots venue.
Yes.
It's not huge, but that's not what counts. It's the fact that they've had so many great names there.
Yes, definitely.
And it's always a pleasure and honour to be there. So I love going back there, mainly because I get to generate new listeners as well.
Yeah.
So every time I'm there, you know, there are new faces, and the space it's so compact that I see everybody's faces. There's no stage per se, but you know, just looking into the audience and feeling that intimacy is what makes it special. And we're talking the basement bar.
Yeah.
So I'll be there on the 30th of August.
Right.
And, that's going to be from 8 p.m. That's a Friday.
Right.
I'll be there, just my trio,
Okay, lovely.
and looking forward to it.
Right, and can you've got a website so people can check out. Do you put dates on there?
It's all up on there.
Excellent.
It's all
Right.
there.
So I'll put. That's what I will point people to in the show notes.
Amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's DeeleeDube.com.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's been really nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Hilary, for having me. It's been an honour. Thank you. Brave Indian warrior, since first I met you, I can't forget you. Cherokee sweetheart.
It was such a pleasure to talk to Deelee, and I hope you enjoyed listening in, hearing a little bit about what makes her tick as a singer, and you've heard about her performances at Ronnie Scott's, at all sorts of places, and how she won the Sarah Vaughan Prize. So I will put in the show notes the link to her website, so please do check her out. And what you're listening to now is her extraordinary version of Cherokee. I'm not going to talk for too long, so I want you to hear more of it. Please do hit follow, and I hope you have an excellent week. Thank you for joining me once more on Harmonious World.
Of summertime, lover time gone by. From my memory, so tenderly inside my brave Indian warrior. Someday I'll hold you in my arms, hold you, my Cherokee
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.